Welcome to today's eESI podcast brief. The subject, the new Earned Paid Sick Time Ordinance due to begin August 1st in both Dallas and San Antonio. And our special guest is Cheryl Zang. Cheryl Zang is an HR business partner at eESI. She has over 30 years experience in multiple industries, including banking, insurance, fitness, and nonprofit. Holds a bachelor's in HR management from the University of the Incarnate Word in San Antonio. And as I said earlier, she is an HR business partner at eESI. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you for helping us understand this ordinance today.
Thank you, Lou. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, tell us about the specifics. What do our listeners need to know about the new Paid Sick Time Ordinance coming to us August 1st?
Perfect. Lou, the first thing is that there are two implementation dates. The first one, as you mentioned, August 1st of 2019, is for employers with 6 or more employees. So anybody with less employees than that, their effective date isn't going to be until August 1st, 2021, so they can hold off for a little bit. Other than that, the affected employers, they're going to have to start providing paid sick leave coverage for all employees who have worked 80 hours in the last 12 months. Not 80 hours in 1 month, but over the last 12 months, if an employee has worked 80 hours, then that employee is going to be covered. And so that's something that's even a little different than a lot of our existing time off policies or sick leave policies, in that a lot of times they'll only be eligible for full-time employees and not part-time employees, but that distinction doesn't apply here. So you really have to look at each employee and how often they worked, and basically it's going to apply to almost every employee if you are a covered employer.
Okay, so the covered employers are those who have 6 or more employees. Cheryl, let's say you have an employee who's been working for 80 to 100 hours in the last year. That's not a lot of time. And all of a sudden they're sick. How many days, how much time do you have to provide for them?
It depends on the size of the employer. If you are an employer who has more than 15 employees, then you're going to be required to give 64 hours per year. If you have 15 or fewer employees, then you'll be required to give 48 hours per year. And the way that it's going to accrue is 1 hour for every 40 hours worked. Okay,
so if they've only worked 80 hours in the last year, you're only responsible to give them 2 hours of paid compensation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it's a sliding scale based on really how much they work for you. Well, that makes a lot of sense. What else should our listeners know about this ordinance?
There are also reporting requirements and notice requirements, so information about the rights and responsibilities will need to go into each employer's handbook. There'll have to be postings at your worksite locations, and that'll have to be in a conspicuous place, somewhere where the employees are customarily posted and that they have access to that signage.
Okay. Now, is this a definite implementation, or is there some possibility that this, as in the past, may be delayed?
Right now, Lou, we're calling it definite. Everybody is implementing it. There is a slight chance that the legislature will call an emergency session, and at that point it could be knocked down, but all the guidance right now is that these employers need to move forward, especially with the upcoming implementation date, as if it were going to go through. We think that the chance of it not is pretty rare.
What should small business owners be doing right now to prepare for this?
Well, right now they should be doing two things. One, either looking at their existing leave policies or creating a new one if they don't have a leave policy. And what is good about this ordinance is that if you have an existing policy, whether it's an encompassing paid time off, a vacation policy, you can use that to meet the compliance requirements of this ordinance. So it may take a little tweaking, you may have to add just a little time, but you aren't required to add this sick leave in addition to other time off you're already giving. You can use it in combination. One of the important aspects of this one is that the sick leave can be used for very specific reasons, and you have to make that available to your employers. So, for example, it's for any physical or mental illness or injury for yourself or a family member, and also in the case of domestic violence, domestic assault, those are qualifications where the employee would be eligible to use this type of paid time off.
Now, you mentioned that would go for family members as well. So if someone in your family is sick, you're able to take off to take care of them. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that's correct. And the employer would need to employee time off for that.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl, for your input on the new Paid Sick Leave Ordinance in both Dallas and San Antonio, due to begin on August 1st. But if you're not currently an eESI client and you have a question about these ordinances and how it applies to you, you can call eESI at 888-465-1171. That's 888-465-1171. Or send an email to hr@eesipeo.com. That's hr@eesipeo.com. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, part of our goal at eESI to help you simplify business.